I'm here with CGTN's Zach Duns, who leads a new TikTok account called The Optimist, which focuses on actions that everyone can take to help fight climate change. Now, Zach, as we've seen in this story about the grocery store in New York, it's really hard to live without producing trash, especially plastics.
It's impossible. I mean, this is just the reality of the world that we live in now. And it's something that a lot of people want to do something about, but they don't have any idea how. And that's the main idea of the TikTok channel. One of the reasons that we chose TikTok as the platform for this is because climate change is something that young people are going to be affected by the most. Even though they're not the ones who caused this problem, they're the ones who are inheriting it. And so we want to make things that are directly appealing to them.
And I understand that you've done a TikTok video on this.
Yeah, about daily plastic use in particular.
Let's take a look.
This morning I woke up and decided, I'm going to count how many single-use plastics I used today. I started the day with a good shave, followed by brushing my teeth, washing my hands, and putting in my contact lenses. After that, it was time for a shower with lots of different shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and all of that. I washed my clothes, unclogged the drain, and made my breakfast, which consisted of sourdough bread, butter, eggs, oil, cheese, and sriracha. I took my vitamins, I washed the dishes, I put some roll-on, and I began my workday by cleaning my computer screen. I also checked my mail, which uses a surprising amount of plastic. Before long, it was lunchtime. I made this wonderful beef stew, which was delicious, but it had to use a lot of plasticky ingredients to be created. Next, it was time for a quick stroll where I went and got some Starbucks coffee, complete with the lid and the plastic stopper. It was barely lunchtime and I was already over 40. Plastic is an inescapable part of our lives. It's horrible for the environment, but we can't live without it. I don't shame anyone at all for using plastics, but the reality is only about 9% of plastics are actually being recycled. The rest end up in places like this. We need legislation to create limitations and restrictions on plastics. Who's with me?
I mean, it really is mind-boggling the amount of plastics that we come into contact with and use in our everyday lives. I'm sure many people are going to try that experiment at home. Now, Zach, for many people, it is a choice between saving the planet or saving money. Usually some of these products and solutions that are more eco-friendly do tend to be more expensive.
Yeah, that's the reality of it, too. A lot of people want to do the more eco-friendly option, but it's not even just the cost necessarily. It also has to do with accessibility. Now, I did make a video about that as well.
Let's take a look.
Is living sustainably worth the extra cost? Check this out. I can get 2 bottles of Gain on Amazon for $13.88 or $6.94 each. After it was done, I decided to try out this refill station close to my home, which sells detergent by the pound. Filling up the same bottle, it cost me $8.44. That's an even $1.50 extra per bottle. Let's assume liberally that I use about 20 of these bottles a year. Refilling would mean I'm out an extra $30. But that's also 19 fewer plastic bottles sitting in a landfill or floating around in the ocean. By the way, it's estimated that only 9% of plastics actually end up recycled. Also, the more of us who do this, the more the price can drop, making it more affordable for everyone. And this doesn't stop at detergent. It's available for soap, shampoo, and more. All of this considered, what's your opinion about this question? Is living sustainably worth the extra cost?
Now, Rochelle, that video got a lot of attention. It almost hit 4 million views on TikTok because it's a perfect example of something that people can do to make a change in their lives, and they're just curious, It's something maybe that they've never heard of before.
And it is one of those things we have to do, sort of balance. You feel guilty about not buying the more eco-friendly thing, but it's like, oh, but, you're trying to save a bit of money. Now, of course, it's not just videos. There are also apps that help people save the environment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple that I'd like to recommend to you today. One of my favorites is called Too Good To Go. That's a food sustainability app. So the way that it works is restaurants will sign up for it. Then at the end of the day, they'll put all of their food that they have left over on the app. And you can go and you can pick it up. You can get a restaurant level meal for $2 or $3 just because the alternative for them is throwing that meal away. I love that app. The other one that I like is called Good On You. It's an app that's all about clothing and the sustainability and ecology of clothing. So it helps rate different clothing brands based on how sustainable they are, what materials they're using, where they're getting those materials from, and things like that.
And it's interesting because a lot of times people just don't know what they don't know. You don't know that these things are available, these sort of shops and resources. So then in terms of the sort of topics and questions that you get the most engagement on, what are people most interested in?
All sorts of topics. Like one video really that was interesting recently was about electric vehicles. I posted one and sort of the thesis of the video was, why aren't more people buying electric vehicles? They're slowly becoming more and more affordable for people. They're much better for the environment than gas vehicles. And, people, there was a lot of mix in there, but people mostly just didn't want to make that change. It's a major lifestyle change. There aren't a lot of charging stations around that people are aware of. And, it's just the convenience of the life that we've gotten used to so far. And these are the types of changes that we need to face head on if we're going to tackle this problem.
Well, Zach, lots of fantastic tips there. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, if you're interested in checking out The Optimist, just search The Optimist on TikTok.